Here are my two favorite paint brushes. Hi, my name is licensed painter, color consultant, owner of Expressions Painting, and founder of Expressions Painting University. What brush do you use has been such a recurring question over the years, especially with people commenting on our YouTube videos, that I decided it's about time that I do a video to show you exactly which brushes that we use or that I personally use, and perhaps why, so that to maybe give you a starting point. But before I begin and I show you this, I want to make it clear, a paintbrush, there's no one paintbrush that's just better than everybody else, than everything else, right? And this is something that I often compare. It's like saying, like a lot of times you'll see painters when they see someone cutting a nice straight line, what brush do you use? It's not the brush, right? And I've made this analogy before where it's not like Sidney Crosby is not the great player that he is because of the hockey stick he uses, right? Some elements may have a small impact on what you can do or can't do, but at the end of the day, it's the painter that puts the paint on the wall, and the brush is a tool that you use, okay? So I want to make it clear, there's no one brush that's better than the other. Each has different characteristics, and depending on your technique or the paint you use, you'll have some that work better or not as good for you. So experiment and see what works for you. But in this video, I wanted to show you which ones work best for me, and it's these two. So the first one here is the NOUR Nature's Palette. It's 2.5 inch and it's a Sash. Now this has been our go-to brush for years and years and years, and I've tested many brushes over the years and I was never able to find an alternative for me and for the types of jobs that we do. So this one here, 2.5 inch, we'll sometimes use the 3 inch, but where we mostly do interior repaints with a lot of things to cut around, this typically is better for us. The 3 inch we'll sometimes use for trims. It's quite practical for trims, but in general terms, this is the brush that I'll have the most in my kit bag. We use that for ceilings, for trims, or the 3 inch for trims, and then a lot of cases just for walls and generals. Now, this has been the key brush that I've used for years and years, probably a good 17 or 18 years, around there, and it basically didn't change much. So they had figured something really good with this brush. So I'm not paid by anybody to show this, just so you know, but it is the NOUR Nature's Palette 2.5 inch brush. Now, my newest favorite, but this one is for a more specific use, this is the PURDY 2.5 inch semi-oval. Now, I'll try to show it. Not sure if you'll see in the camera, but it's called a semi-oval because the middle part, it's much thicker than the top and the bottom. And this particular brush, this is not a cheap brush. This is like $40 or $50, well, Canadian, so I'm not sure depending on where you're watching in the world, but it's definitely pretty much wherever you are, it's on the most expensive brushes, whereas this one is probably around the $15 range. But for this one, we use primarily for the wall color. And the key thing that we like about this one is once it's all dipped in paint, when you put it on a corner, the top of the bristle here form a nice square, or even less than a square, a nice triangle that allows you to go into the corners very easily to create those nice 90-degree angles, especially on color changes where two colors meet, right? And the other thing too is where it's thicker in the middle, it's easier to brush the paint nice and smooth. So it doesn't take as many strokes to do the back and forth. A lot of people like that it's the longer bristles as well, like I think it's longer, yeah, it is longer than this one as well. So there's longer bristles, which allows you to put a little bit more paint to do the longer strokes, which a lot of cases when we're talking about doing a straight line will help you do that, because you can go smoother. Once you catch the line, as a lot of painters refer to that as that, once you catch your corner, then you can hold the line much nicer and go for long periods of time. Now, I've tested this one in trims. We don't like it as as much. It's just a little too stiff for the trims, but for the walls, I say too stiff because in the trims there's all sorts of different levels that the brush needs to kind of, the grooves of the trim and then the side. And we find that when it comes to the side, it just scratches off the paint a little too much because you're hitting it in an angle. So we like the NOUR Nature's palette much better for that. The bristles are a bit softer, but not too soft that prevents you from being able to spread the paint. So there you have it. Not sure if this helps, but anyways, this is perhaps a good starting point. At least you know why we like these brushes and for which purpose. But this one here, the PURDY, I was personally blown away at how tight it can hold in that corner. So if you have nice square corners near the trim or near the ceilings, this makes your job a heck of a lot easier and you're able to go much faster. Now I say this, it makes it easier and faster. It doesn't make you cut a straight line if you can't cut a straight line at the beginning, right? So if you're looking for assistance or tips maybe on how to get to those straighter lines, I'd recommend you watch the video on YouTube, Mastering the Paintbrush. Mastering the Paintbrush. This is one where I show you exactly how a straight line is achieved. And no, it's not a steady hand like a surgeon-like precision. It's about understanding the tool and how to use it. So this hopefully will get you started in the right direction. If you have questions, post them below. I'll try my best to answer them. And if I can't get to each one individually, maybe I'll shoot another video at some point. But so there you go. So if you have value, thanks for. Hope you have value is what I'm saying. So if you're a homeowner in the Greater Moncton area, please reach out to us. If you're ready to change your colors, we will help you change your life. If you're a painter, a contractor, or consultant anywhere around the world, please visit Expressions Painting University, or EPU for short, where it's a school where we teach painters and contractors and consultants all around the world gain the proper tools, knowledge, and systems to be able to help their clients leverage the power of color. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.